Now we are ready to create a report. In this lecture, I am going to walk you through the process of creating the report. You've already connected with the data source, are sort of familiar with the interface, so let's dive in. Google Data Studio provides us with various charts and graphs options that you can use in your report. And the type of chart that you will use will depend on the data that you are using and the message that you're trying to convey. My suggestion is before you start to dive in and create these reports, completely think through the process of what message you want to convey and what kind of report you want. Once you have an idea of the charts and graphs that you want on your report, then it will be much easier for you to create these in Data Studio. For this example, for our first chart, we will use time series to show how visits are trending over time. So this is your time series. First, click on the chart that you want to use. Once you click on it with your mouse, then go over to the area in your reporting interface where you want to place this and click on the spot where you want to start drawing this. And while keeping the mouse down, drag and draw the area where you want this chart to appear. So let's go halfway through right here and drop it. And now here is a time series chart of all the sessions, how sessions are trending over a period of time. When you did this drop, you also notice now data elements have become available on your right hand side. You have various fields that you can also drop in this chart. So let's quickly go through this before proceeding further. You are using the master view of your data source. Blend data is an advanced topic and we won't cover that in this lecture. Then underneath it is the dimension. So you got the date dimension. Dimension in a nutshell is how you categorize your data. So these are generally the date or the product categories, the user types, etc. And then you have a metric. Metric is what you calculate for that dimension. So we are looking at sessions over date. That's why you have date dimension and you have a session dimension. You can further break down this by adding more dimensions. Then you have the date range. Right now it's auto. It's just pulling up from Google Analytics and you can see it shows you a monthly view. You can also do custom if you would like. Then there are certain filters you can add to filter and show only the relevant data and any segments that you want to use from Google Analytics. These are advanced topics not covered in this lecture at this point. And you have also all your available fields that you can use. So for now, we're going to leave it as it is. Now let's add another chart. This will be a pie chart to show you different user types, new and returning. For that, we'll need to find pie chart here. So click on pie chart and click on where you want this pie chart to be on your report. And while keeping the mouse down, drag and draw an area where you want this pie chart to show up. Once done, drop it and you have your pie chart. However, you will notice that the pie chart is showing you the source of user acquisition. We do not want the user acquisition sources. What we're looking for is the user types. So you can easily change these data elements that are showing up on your chart by going over to your data source in your right hand side. As you can see, the dimension is source. That's what is showing up here. This is the source of acquisition of customers or users. This is the source where your users are coming from. What we are looking for here is user types. For that, we need to change this from source to user type. So go ahead and click on this. And it opens up a window where you can choose the dimension that you want to use in your report. So let's scroll down and we have user. Click on this. And here are the values that you can use. So what we want is user type. So click on user type and now you can see it's new versus returning visitors. So go back and now you're in data view. You can see your user type is new and returning visitor. Your metrics is session, so it's aggregating at that level. So now you've got 2 charts here. You can further draw more charts as needed. This time we are going to draw a table showing us all the acquisition channels. Remember the source that we had in our pie chart? Click on the table icon and then draw a table in your report. There you have it. We have all the data sources and how many sessions or visits are coming from those sources. It seems like too big. We can simply click on this table and drag it to make it smaller. Now let's draw another chart to fill this area, and we are going to use a bar chart. So click on bar chart and draw 2, 3. By default, this graph also shows you customer acquisition sources, but that's not what we want. Since we already got that in our table, we are going to use a different dimension. So go ahead and click on dimension and then pick the dimension that you want. In our example, I'm going to use time and hour so that we can see at what hour users are coming to this site. Once done, go back and now you have the hours showing up. So this is your report. Now you'll notice it's not the best looking report. The fonts are very hard to read. It's not formatted properly. We will look into formatting the report in subsequent lectures. However, now you've learned how to create these charts and graphs. Other things that you can do on this one is also throw in more customization by using the objects. So let's say you want to add a company logo on this report. You can do that by using an image object. Click on image and then put where you want this logo to be. However, as we are noticing, there is not enough space to put the logo. So I'm going to move all the other objects lower on the page. So what I'm going to do is select object, keeping the shift key down, select the other objects, and now you have all the selections done. Once selected, use the down arrow key on your keyboard to move them lower on the page. Once you have enough space, go back to your image object. Now you have enough room, drag it and make it bigger. Next thing you have to do is fill this with the image. In order to do that, click on select a file. The option will show up on your right hand side. Click on it and pick the image that you want to use. I want to use Optizent JPEG. Click on open and now my image is showing up. Similarly, you can also add text object to write some text about this report. So let's go ahead and click on text and drag it and create a box. In this box, I am going to write what this report is about. So we can say GA demo store report. So there you have it. It's very hard to read, but you can format this right here. Using my mouse, I'm just going to select this whole text. I can choose the font and color right here. So I'm going to change the color to black, change the font size to really, really big. Let's say 72. And then I can also choose the font that I want. There are several other formatting options that you can play with, such as aligning the text, bold, italics, underline, etc., and also provide background colors, shading, padding, etc. There are tons of options for you to customize how this report looks. I'm not going to get into the details of all of these options, but you get the idea how to do it. Once you're done, you can click on this view option to see how this report is going to look for your users. So let's go ahead and click on view. And this is how it's going to look for your users. If you find something that you want to edit, then you can click on edit and go back to your edit mode. As you are working on these reports, they are automatically saved. So there is no save button on them. So there, you just learned how to create a report in Google Data Studio. Go ahead and play with it. Play with different controls, play with different charts to see how they work and become comfortable with them.